Hi all, today we will see philosophy and education. So we are already discussed different aspects about education as well as various aspects of philosophy. And today we will try to connect philosophy and education, or we are trying to explore how philosophy and education are connected, or whether these two disciplines are interrelated. In what ways? Let's see. So, philosophy and education can be said as you know, the two sides of the same coin. So, two sides of the same coin. What is the significance of both the sides in a coin? Because each side is complementary to the other side. So, that's significance. Means both are interrelated. The existence of both are interrelated. Suppose the case of a coin. Usually we have coins with one side displays the value of the coin, and the other side usually our national emblem. So only when both these sides are clear. Suppose if one side is plain, the side bearing the value of the coin is plain. Only emblem can be seen on other side. And the reverse case also. There shall be a value but no emblem on the emblem side is blank. So in both the cases, it affects the function of the coin. So similarly, one side is philosophy and the other side is education, and both shall be there. So they are mutually integrated. So that's why it is said that philosophy and education are two sides of the same coin. That also is significant. Two sides of the same coin. And in another way, we can say philosophy as the theoretical side and education as practical side. So it also say in another words, such as education is the laboratory in which philosophical principles are being practiced. So philosophy provides what philosophy provides for education. Philosophy proposed various theories. So the theoretical background, the foundation is laid by philosophy. Philosophy provide the principles, theories, etc. And all such theories when keep on as theories, there is no benefit at all. No theory can be used as such when only or the theory can be applied. Only the application is beneficial for us, for people. So the theory shall be applied. So whether this theory can be applied and to what extent we can apply that theory, that shall be done only through education. So in that way we can say philosophical principles are practiced through education, or education as the practical side of philosophy. So these theories and principles of philosophy can be practiced through education. That is what we are seeing. Various kinds of philosophical theories are being practiced in our system of education. For example, you know the familiar issue-based approach or issue-based system, activity-based system. All these are different philosophies, constructivism, It's a philosophy. And that theory we are applying in our education system or through education. So that's why it is said that philosophy is the theoretical side and education its practical side, or education is the laboratory in which we can practice the principles of philosophy. And then we, if any modification is required, then theory or principle can be modified accordingly on the basis of the result of the experiments conducted through the laboratory of education. Then education without philosophy has no root. So that's another significant relation, because education is rooted on philosophy. So a plant without root, it can withstand, it will perish, die. Similarly, philosophy without education has no fruit. The plant will be there, but it's unable to produce any fruit, no fertile, no use at all. So it can withstand to next generations. So that's the fruit of education, fruit in the form of education. That fruit shall be dispersed or disseminated to the succeeding generations. So philosophy is the root and education is the fruit. So these are some of the statements showing relation between, or how these philosophy and education are interrelated, mutually shared each other. You might have other such statement also you can add up. And now we shall see on what aspects of education that philosophy influences. Just we completed some general statements, and now we are focusing more on the specific aspects of education on which philosophy has its influence. Aims of education. So in any aspect of life, the first or the prime importance is for aims. What are our aims? What is my aim? What is your aim? So aims of education. So any education system or any topic, when you are going to take a lesson, you will write some objectives. That's the aims of your lesson, as in the form of objectives. So from where we get these aims? So the aims are derived from philosophy. So philosophy, if we consider a topic, then the philosophy of the topic, philosophy of the approach, that determine the significance of the topic, and that determine our aim. Then curriculum. What shall be included in the curriculum? Curriculum shall be in the form of some prescribed textbook or not. That's is influenced by philosophy. It's our philosophy that we are using a set of prescribed textbooks, even at higher education. In some other nations, when we see, there shall be no prescribed text. There shall be different kinds of, or a set of books and other materials together with to form the curriculum. Then methodology. Whether we adopt method of teaching or method of learning, which shall given more priority. So that is determined by philosophy. Whether a teacher-oriented pedagogy or a learner-oriented pedagogy, which shall be adopted. We are more concentrated even now on a teacher-oriented pedagogy. Our teachers are speaking always, and learners are listening, and reproducing what they get from. That's a type of methodology of teaching. Our course's name also is like that: methodology of teaching this particular subject, methodology of teaching. And in no place we can see methodology of learning science, methodology of learning maths, methodology of learning Malayalam, English, like that. So that philosophy that determine what kind of methodology, what type of methodology we have to adopt. Then the classroom context, the learning or teaching context and classroom climate. Climate or context. Both are actually different, but I just mix up both here for an easy understanding. So the learning context or the teaching context and the nature of the classroom climate, whether it's an authoritarian class, teacher dominant class, or a democratic class. So what is the nature of the class? So nature of the class is influenced by philosophy. The philosophy of the teacher, philosophy of the institution, as well as philosophy of the nation. Though we are practicing democracy, our classrooms are less democratic. Not because the teacher is dominant, but heavily because the learners are passive. As learners, we are hesitant to cooperate. In democracy, cooperation is highly valued. Each voices shall be valued. In democracy, everybody should respond. So though we are practicing that philosophy in our nation, that is not properly practiced in our classrooms. There shall be an essential level of learner responsibility. Learner have to supplement something. They have to provide something. They have to suggest something. That's the power of democracy. So the philosophy determine, but we still follow our ancient philosophy. We are, as learners, we are best receivers, and teachers are providers. And that has not changed, even though we are practicing, or our education system is set as in a democratic system. Then discipline. Again, we shall mention democracy, the nature of discipline. So discipline is a very, very misunderstood word that we can discuss in detail later on. Today, how the teacher student interaction in the class, that's the discipline. There are different types of discipline as well. The discipline shall be created by the impression of the teacher, or sometimes suppressing that repression by teacher, or it shall be by mutual sharing. That depends on the approachability of the teacher, how far the teacher is approachable, whether you can freely interact with the teacher, whether you can ask any type of question with the teacher, share your experience with the teacher, whether it is face to face or online. There are so many provisions, but we are seldom use those. In online platform, there are plenty. We usually criticize that in online platform, there is no scope for, or there is no space for interaction. But in my opinion, in face-to-face class, classes, the scope of interaction is very limited, because there shall be a strength of 40 to 50 students in a class, and it is not possible for a teacher and for a learner to interact personally with teacher. One or two may interact and all the others remain quiet. But in online platform, it is not like that. Each and every of you can interact personally with the teacher, or you can form some discussion forums. After the class, you can discuss about. So that also is a philosophy, a change in philosophy. We are not much aware of that. Even the Google Classroom, you can see, you can share your experiences, but you are not using that. You can comment on, and other people also can comment on. The nature of the teacher and learner, that's another aspect on which philosophy influences. How a teacher should be and how a learner should be. Whether the teacher should be a provider or the teacher should be a facilitator. That also, you know, we say facilitator, mentor, all these are recent terms. It's very, very difficult task to be a mentor. In my opinion, it is easy to be a teacher, because we can teach and teach. But to facilitate and mentoring, both are highly complicated task. And in the case of learner also, in our system, it is very, very comfortable for learners. Because we can sit and wait for something to get from our teachers. So there shall be a learner active or activity based or constructivist philosophies. There shall be more responsibility for learners. So all those are decided by philosophy. And of course, the nature of assessment. Even in the middle of this pandemic, our system, our institutions, we are not at all thinking about a new system of assessment. We are sticking on the same traditional memory based written summative assessment. We are not at all thinking about the power of formative short assessments, continuous assessment. It's the best time to utilize continuous assessment. Assessment of each topic that we are discussing. It shall be continuous. Even we are making a tea, we will continually assess it. Then only we will get a good tea. Then why not education? So that's a philosophy. We have a philosophy about assessment, and we are keeping it as such. We are not dare to change it. We are not dare to experiment in the changing context. So when we examine from aims to assessment in all aspects of education, we can see the influence of philosophy. Then how does philosophy influence education? That's a very, very significant question. We see that philosophy influences almost all aspects of education. And how does this happen? So we, in the last presentation, you have seen that the major divisions of philosophy, the axiology, metaphysics, epistemology, etc. So philosophy itself, in a nutshell, deal with or provide us a vision what we are going to do. That's the vision. The philosophy provide us the vision why we do this, what we are going to do, and how we are. So these three questions, the three basic questions, and the vision, the philosophy provide us necessary guidelines to take up with these questions. What, why, and how. So the first division, axiology. Axiology we will see detail in later another presentation. Axiology is also termed as theory of values or study of values, and the values decides the aims of education. So that's in that way philosophy influence education. Axiology, values, aims. Metaphysics. Metaphysics is study of reality, and the reality help to design curriculum. What shall be included in the curriculum? What shall be the nature of the curriculum? That is influenced by metaphysics of a philosophical system. Epistemology. Epistemology is the theory of knowledge, the study of knowledge. And this study of knowledge, the type of knowledge, the nature of knowledge help us to select appropriate methodology, whether a teacher oriented or a learner oriented or a mixed one. So this is the way, and it also influence the nature of the teacher, discipline, etc. So in these ways, axiology, metaphysics, epistemology, values, reality, knowledge, aims, curriculum, methodology. So this is the way by which philosophy influences education. So that's all about the relation between philosophy and education. Thanks for watching the presentation. Thank you all.